What's up, guys? Matt here from AchievementHunter.com. Today, we're going to be doing the Destiny Rise of Iron, the Wrath of the Machine raid. We got a complete guide right here for you guys. Just wanted to start off by saying this is a real long video, so there's going to be timestamps in the description letting you know where different parts of the raid are. There'll be like a Siva cluster number 1 right here at 30 seconds, except it's not at 30 seconds. It's way later than that, but it will be in the description. So where you start when you land in the raid is right in that little courtyard where you know the giant servitor is. You probably recognize it from the Rise of Iron mission that you did earlier. There's 3 generators here now, though. One to the left, one to the right, and one in the middle. You're going to want to separate your group into 3 groups of 2, and you're going to have a defender and a runner at each generator. The runners are going to run through those blue little swirly things. They collect an arc charge, or a voltage rising buff, and you can buff that up to 4 times and get a max voltage buff. Once you get the max voltage buff, run back to a generator, and that will start the raid. They'll activate the first boss, which is Vosix the Archpriest. He's the one that's going to be guarding the door to the raid, and he's immune when you shoot him when he's got his shield. To get rid of his shield, you're going to need to do that runner and defender thing I was talking about earlier. Have the runner get the max charge and run it back to the generators. You're going to have to keep charging those generators until they eventually drop Siva cluster bombs. Now, it takes a little bit, maybe like 3 or 4 rotations of it. The defender will be there guarding the generator from ads, and also there is a special type of shank that runs around and he tries to eat the voltage a little bit. Eventually, though, they'll drop that Siva charge, like I said, and you can throw it at Vosix. Yeah, that takes his shield down a little bit, and each bomb, actually, if you hit him without the shield, does 10,000 damage, which is a pretty hefty amount for an early boss. Just keep repeating that process until eventually Vosix's shield will run out. You should be able to do it in one charge, but if for some reason you miss with too many of the bombs and you can't, don't worry, there's no timer on this guy. He won't like enrage and kill you or anything like that. You basically just keep repeating until you eventually wear him down, and I'm pretty sure his shield doesn't recharge until after he's completely lost it. So like right now it will recharge in the footage that you're looking at now, but I'm pretty sure if you just missed and you had to like start clean, it'd be totally fine, no big deal. The other thing you should be aware of is if you hold that voltage rising for too long, you will die. Another thing was like I was talking about earlier, the voltage eaters do come for the voltage charge eventually. But they're pretty easy to kill. I know they're yellow bar, but if you have a good defender, they should be able to take care of it pretty quickly and easily. But just keep repeating that process, and eventually Vosix will take too much damage, and he decides he's out. He runs back inside the servitor eye, and I guess the eyeball opens up, so you can go inside the giant servitor. I don't know why the hole opens up for you specifically after he's dead, but whatever works. Then you can go on and get further into the raid. After it opens up, you can go ahead and start climbing up there, though, and that's where our first chest is going to be. It's pretty straightforward, right there on the path. Take a left as soon as you get up into the raid and right through the servitor eye, and there'll be your first chest. That one seems to only drop legendary engrams and these Siva key fragments, which if you get 10, you can open special caches later. Anyway, keep moving forward, and you'll get to this jumping puzzle. It's pretty simple, but I left it in just in case. I know a lot of people, they sometimes don't like platforming. Like, I think Andrew Panton just fell off right there. I'm not going to say he's bad, but I mean, he fell right there, and I didn't. Who's to judge? Anyway, moving on a little bit further, just follow these pipes. It's pretty self-explanatory which way you're going to need to go. I'm going to show a clean run here of just how I got through it. I jumped over those tanks completely, but I'm also a warlock. I know most people, like hunters, probably want to hit the tanks. And the Titan boost to me is a little weird too, so you might want to go and do that. I know there are also a few enemies on this, but I mean, they're not really that difficult to clear out. I mean, there's this guy right here. Somebody converted him to our side, no big deal. So he'll be there guarding it forever, so if you see him, say hi. But yeah, it's a clean run in because I know a lot of people have trouble with the platforming, but this one's still pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. I do know that a Siva cluster is going to be right here after you get to the end, and this is, of course, the end of the first platforming area. But the Siva cluster is to the right of this entryway, or exit way, I guess. And you just follow this little platform right over here. It's pretty hidden, not completely hidden. There's some stuff later in the raid. It's way worse, but this is a pretty easy one to find. Just follow this walkway, and you see everybody down there kind of congregating up top. And, it's not too difficult to jump up there, but I'm about to show you me failing because you can clearly see it through the grate right there, but I'm going to jump over, and you need to jump onto that thing right there. But I fucked up, hit the ceiling, and landed down there. But don't worry, you can get back up from there really easily. And then just hop right up to that thing. We see Andrew Panton. He's doing a good job right there, jumping up to get the Siva cluster. And I'm going to do it right after him. And see, it's pretty simple to get up there. And just like that, you have your first Siva cluster from the raid. And there's a total of 4 here, so we'll cover all of them and as well as a few chests. After you get the cluster, follow the path, and you wind up in this room. This is going to be the room where you finish off Vosix the Archpriest. When you're in the room, go ahead and look around. There are going to be 4 of these clean rooms on the left and right, and they're going to be essential later when Vosix floods the room with Siva. I'll cover that later, though. You're also going to want to go ahead and split up again into 3 groups of 2, one for the left, one for the right, and one for the center, and you're going to be guarding and catching bombs that fall from the ceiling there. I went ahead and showed you a big shot of the monitors. Be sure to look out for those. We'll cover that again later. Go ahead and run up front, and you'll activate Vosix. And in the fight, what's going to happen is there'll be some splicers, obviously, and there'll be bombs dropping from the ceiling. They're the same bombs you had to use to break his shield earlier, except this time you need to synchronize to get the most out of the bombs. Be careful, though, because if you're not careful, you'll hit an ad just like I did, and then you'll waste your bomb, as well as some damage you can do to his shield. After the bomb phase, though, he activates monitors that you'll need to shoot, otherwise he'll flood the room with Siva. You only have 4 clean rooms, so you can't really waste any of those floodings, because eventually you're going to throw bombs at him, and that'll break his shield. That opens him up completely for attack, and you get like about 30 seconds to attack him and try and take him out. After the attack phase, though, that's when he floods the room with the Siva, and you have to run to the clean rooms. The clean rooms will light up, so you don't really get to pick which one you use, but I think 1 or 2 activate each time. You should never use 2 rooms at a time. Always save as many as you can. If someone dies, don't worry about it. You got plenty of time to revive them, but if 3 people will die, you might want to wipe. But if nothing else, don't worry about it too much. Just remember, you are only going to have 5 total shots at doing this. I just locked Larry out right there. Had no problem letting him die for the cause outside of the clean room. But again, just make sure you watch those monitors, because if you don't hit the monitors, he'll activate it early, and you don't get a chance to damage him that whole time. Another thing to be wary of is after he gets to the low 50% health, Exploder Shanks start coming out, and those things suck because they can wipe you up pretty quickly. Anyway, just repeat that process. You again only have 5 tries, but I think we ended up with only needing 3 to take him out completely. Doesn't have a whole lot of health, so you shouldn't have too much trouble there, but again, we wiped a few times trying to do it. No big deal. Just get the pattern down, and you'll eventually have it. Again, after he dies, though, he also leaves a chest. This is your first Siva cache chest. If you have a cache key, you can open it, but most people have a cache key. I think you get one from a quest earlier. Again, if you get 10 of the fragment keys, you can totally just make one yourself and open it. Right after that, you'll just follow the path, and there'll be another kind of jumping puzzle. I left this one in as well because this one's a little bit more convoluted, but there's also a few more secrets hidden on this one than the other one. I'm again going to show you a clean run, and then we'll go back through and kind of get the chests and the Siva fragments and Siva clusters. It's so weird because like half the time I call them fragments, half the time I call them clusters, but they're definitely clusters. But when you go to pick one up, it says fragment, so it's kind of a weird thing. I don't really know what the deal is with it, but you guys get what I'm talking about. Remember this section right here where you can kind of go into the wall? We're going to come back here because there is a fragment or cluster nearby. But this is also a really easy section because you end up above the rest of the platform, and it just makes it easier to kind of flop down instead of do the whole platforming bit down below. But yeah, just head over here, jump a little bit more. I think up here to the left is the first time I had any difficulty where I just jumped before looking and save myself on the pipes to the left. So be very careful there. You might want to maybe look before you jump instead of what I did, which was just jump. But head over there, and this jump, one more, and then the ending is right there to the left. You can see it pretty clearly. And that's just that whole jumping puzzle. It's not too difficult, like I said. But turn around after you get to the end, and you'll be able to get a secret chest. If you see that walkway up to the right, I believe Dictator of Xbox is up there. He'll show you how to get up there. I'll hop up there following him. And I don't think he's going to be there for your game. He might be. I highly doubt it. But anyway, you run down this walkway. I don't know why I got tired and walked. And there will be a chest. Pretty sure that one only drops legendary engrams and some key stuff. But it's still worth opening. Now, if you remember this part right here where you're kind of up here and you take that path to the left, just jump right up. There's a pipe right there. And there's a vent that on top of it, there's a Siva cluster. So that'll be cluster number 2, I believe. And turn around right there. Don't be an idiot and look at the ground like I did. And find that Siva cluster. And if you head to the right after this, you maybe see kind of Andrew Panton right over there. He'll have another chest over there. He, again, will not be in your game, unlike what we have here. But if you follow the pathway that he's going to be walking on, we go down here and take a left. It's kind of a hidden little area. I missed it the entire time when I walked through here first time. But now hop up to this pipe over here on the right, and over to the left after that, there'll be another little walkway up here. And you can just hop over here. I kind of hit a wall when I did that, and that's a little weird. Head over here, and to your left will be a chest. I don't know why I'm walking for some reason. My guy's tired, obviously. He did so much jumping. To the right doesn't seem to be anything except another little pathway, but there is a chest. I actually got an exotic from that drop, so there is some good stuff in there. If you keep walking, though, and head down the path, you'll eventually get to this cool little highway thing. And if you run through there, you can turn around and see this crazy death machine looking thing. And you're going to want to be familiar with the turrets on it and the middle part, that's its core. Because what you're going to do in a little bit is you're going to shoot the turrets, it'll break open the core, and then you shoot the core to stop the thing from crushing you. You're also going to want to be familiar with the different parts of the machine when you hop on top of it. That is, I believe, where the engine block goes. Over to the left over here is where the drive shaft goes. And back in the middle, I believe, is where the nuclear reactor kind of thing goes. What's going to happen is eventually you'll walk down to a certain part of the highway. The machine will start trying to kill you. You'll trigger a cutscene. You're going to see it here in a sec. And what will have to happen, you have to blow up the turrets and then eventually the core. After that, you'll have to go get the parts because you'll have had that machine break a wall open and it gets fucked up. You'll have to use those parts to repair the machine. But anyway, as soon as that cutscene goes, you'll have like some ads that'll spawn in and try and stop you. What's best to have happen here is have your people with long-range weapons already shooting at the turrets. I'm kind of mid-range with a pulse rifle right now, so I'm waiting for it to get a little bit closer. The ones who are closer range, though, they need to go ahead and be working on ads because these ads will fuck you up pretty quick. But as soon as it gets close enough for you to go ahead and start shooting at it, you might want to have as many people shooting at it as possible because it will kill you immediately. I say I had to deal with an ad there, but since I turned him into my friend, he'll help us out. Clearly, he'll be the one who saves the day. But once you go ahead and take out that turret, the core will be exposed. Once you expose and take out the core, the barricades on the left and right of this vehicle will break themselves, so you can jump onto the top of the vehicle without being crushed. Pretty quick process. We almost didn't make it there, but we were able to get it right at the last second. And when you climb up to the top, I believe it'll go ahead and start kind of destroying that barricade. I waved at it because you're not going to miss it when it's gone, obviously. But you break through it, and that's pretty much when the machine kind of starts to break. You can kind of hear it kind of screeching to a halt at this point. It's going to make its way right up to that point up there and then just kind of die, and you then have to repair it before it explodes. And it's a good thing to note, if you wipe here, you will have to do that section that we just did all over again. So anyway, when you jump off, be careful because there are some pits down there, and they're instant kills, and they're going to be very important to avoid later on because we have to get parts and bring them back. So you see this kind of skiff here. Take out the captain, and as soon as you take out the captain, the skiff will drop the parts down there for you and your group to pick up. Now, a lot of people probably would say, again, break into the 3 groups of 2, and that might work. What we have is one person hanging in the back and sniping. That'll be very important later because as soon as you pick up the materials that you need to fix the vehicle, it will spawn the slow mines that you generally see in the Prison of Elders and stuff like that. Apparently, the Fallen are the ones that actually made those. But again, be careful here. I know there's some pits that you can fall in the back, and that will really ruin your day. You'll probably have to wipe because a death here is pretty bad. Anyway, when you pick those up, what's going to happen is you have about, I think it's 10 seconds that you can carry them before you get exhausted. You drop it on the ground, and then you can't pick it up for another 10 seconds. So it's a good idea to have multiple people here so you can kind of rotate out. But we feel like it's a pretty good idea to have that one person in the back because while this is all happening, people are spawning on the vehicle, and they're going to be essential to take out because if you don't take them out, the vehicle won't open up. But whenever that exhaustion wears out, you can pick it back up. Generally, what would you probably do is the people who are exhausted can still shoot and fight, and they would defend the other people who are rotating out and trying to pick it up. But again, we think this probably works the best because we don't have any slow mines, which is generally a big problem here. But a big thing that we used a lot of Warlocks for our run. Radiance really helped if we died here because self-res was really important. But you don't necessarily need that. Just, carry the blocks all the way back to the car. This is the first slow mine we encountered, and I guarantee you that whole area is littered with them. So just be very careful. This one area in particular, when you get right about here, a bunch of captains spawn, and they're all yellow bars, so they're pretty difficult. So right now I recommend using all your heavy ammo. I only had like 2 Gajala shots, but it's no big deal. Anyway, we're carrying him up here, and our person on top, he's now just killing everybody. Again, there will be a captain that spawns inside that vehicle, so you will need someone there to kill that captain, because otherwise that drawbridge that we're about to walk up will not even be down. It won't be lowered. So you have a bunch of people just sitting there with like all these engine blocks and stuff like that, and they can't get up, but they can get killed by captains. I'll tell you that for damn sure. Anyway, make your way up there. It's very crucial to know where these parts need to go immediately. It's probably the hardest section for us because we got here so many times that we got up here and didn't know what parts went where. And also several of us were exhausted. The more people you get here unexhausted, obviously the better. But, we had I think half of our team was downed out there. And another word of advice, don't go out and get them. I tried. After you activate the vehicle, they're dead. Just don't worry about it. You can get them up after you drive over them. because we almost wiped because I went out there and tried to get them. Several of us tried to do it, and that vehicle doesn't care if you're trying to save your teammates. It'll just run over you. Anyway, just get on there. It blows up the next wall, and it kind of goes down here. And you'll see it kind of takes this little dive down off of a bridge. And again, you can all get people up way in the back, no big deal. But be careful, because I know buddy right here, he ran out in front, and he almost got killed by the thing. But luckily, it kind of slows down as it gets near the ledge, and you can just kind of ride it off. You do have to make a decision. Do you want to go down with it, or do you want to kind of get off? Doesn't really matter in the long run. You're going to have to go down there anyway, but it does look way cooler to watch it just kind of fall off here as it slowly makes its way down and ends its life. I think you actually, if you get to the bottom of the pit in a minute, you'll get a legendary Ingram, and just all for your trouble of watching that thing fall off and look awesome in the process. But yeah, go ahead and jump off and make your way down to the bottom. I'm pretty sure a legendary Ingram should be down there waiting for you. And look at that. That's a long drop. Just be sure to stop yourself from dying, because you can die there. There's your legendary Ingram, and there's also a Siva cache chest right by there. I missed it as soon as I fell down because I was just in awe of everything that happened. But again, if you got the Siva cache key, go ahead and plop it down, open up that chest, and get some more loot. The next thing you're going to find, though, is another Siva cluster. Just right from the chest, you saw me walk over here, hop over, and it's just hidden right under a rock here. Pretty simple to find. And right after this, you're going to get this cluster, and then there's another chest that's right by here. There's a ton of loot right after this whole thing, probably because that encounter was so cool. The chest is going to be at that pipe way up at the top, just a really simple platforming, not too hard. I mean, if you climb the mountain in the Iron Temple, you're totally fine. This is like a cakewalk. And just hop over there to get in that pipe, and there's one more chest. I believe a few people got an exotic from this one, so it's pretty good. I just got a legendary Ingram, but, you know, no big deal. A lot of cool gear that I'm getting from this whole raid. So after that, just follow the path until you eventually get to this thing. That's where the next important thing is going to be. It's going to be our fourth and final Siva cluster. There'll be some fallen in here. You just need to take them out. No big deal. Not too many. And you'll see that little platform down there. You're going to want to go ahead and jump to it. I think, Warlock didn't have too much of trouble. I almost died, though, and then fell through here and then hovered. So I got lucky. I think a hunter might have the easiest time getting there, but it's pretty easy for everyone else to get there. I didn't have too much trouble, but if you are having trouble getting that cluster, like I know my good buddy Larry, he had some problems, just do what Larry did. Larry got right here, and he looked down, and what was that? Collect fragment? And he just crouched down, got the fragment pretty easy. So might want to do that before they patch it out. But anyway, after you get that cluster, you're just going to want to head through this maze. I left in this part because it is a little tricky. It's nothing too bad. There's nothing like no threat, but it is a little easy to get turned around in here. So I figured I'd show you guys the pathway I used to get out. But if you get lost, don't worry. Finding the entrance is not too hard. Just kind of hit a wall and hold on to it. The exit is a little bit harder to find, but I mean, you could stumble upon it as well. There's nothing really dangerous in here. Just again, I thought I'd show you guys a clear in and out, getting you to the next area. After you get up to this door on the left right here, you're going to be pretty straight shot until you get to this weird, I guess, No Man's Sky-ish looking thing. So just head down in there, and you'll get to a room that kind of lights up the floor. And we're going to be at the final boss encounter, which will have 2 phases. So we'll go over that right here in just a sec. Head on in here and this weird glowy room, and then jump down. I'm going to look at that. They're all jumping in. I'm going to be a little bit tepid, but I'm jumping in anyway. Heading on down there to the bottom. And boop, got down there. I was trying to look at that floor and see if it had any kind of secret on it. Looked like it might have something to do with the glowing floor, but I quit caring as soon as we activated the boss. The boss, by the way, is Axis Archon Prime. This guy is going to have 2 different phases. This is the first phase. First phase is pretty simple, but and really the second phase isn't too difficult, but you will need a really high light level to go ahead and finish him off. Anyways, you guys can see he's immune to bullets just like most of the bosses in this area. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and split up into 3 groups of 2, just like with most of the bosses in this area. And be careful, because this guy spawns some dregs and a Reaver Vandal. He's probably the most dangerous thing that he's going to spawn right away. And you're going to have to go ahead and clear out the dregs until he'll eventually spawn a captain. That captain will be either holding a Scorch, a Shock, or a Null Cannon. And after you finish off the captain, a Scorch, a Shock, or a Null Servitor will spawn. What you're going to want to do is after you grab a cannon, which again, 1 person per group should grab the cannon, the other person should not. You're going to want to hunt down the Servitor that has your specific type of damage that you need to deal and kill it with that cannon. It should take 1 shot if you charge it up, But, you know, you guys are going to have to be very vocal between your team because the servitors do not spawn where the captains spawn. So basically, that servitor could spawn on any side. You're just there to try and kill the captain as far as your left, right, and middle stuff at the beginning. After that happens, you'll see those little weak points right there. You need to throw the SIVA cluster bomb that the servitors drop right at his weak points. This is just for the first section. Again, later on, it'll be different, but he'll have 3 different phases to this first section. One will have 2 of those weak points, the next will have 3, and the last one will have 7. The good thing that you need to know, though, is if you already picked up a cannon, you cannot pick up a cluster bomb for 30 seconds after you put that cannon down. So again, it's pretty crucial to make sure that only one person in your group of 2 grabs the cannon to deal with the servitors. In between the rounds, though, he'll be dropping out some shanks, and go ahead and just use your extra cannon stuff on him. There's no big deal there. But it is good to know that for the servitor bombs, make sure that you don't miss once you get to the second round, because he only drops 3, and there are a total of 3 targets. That's the only one that if you miss with one of the bombs, you're pretty messed up. Because the last one, he drops 9 bombs total, and there's only 7 targets. So this is the last round of that section. It's pretty much just a repeat like it is for most of the stuff. Go ahead and grab the Scorch Cannons, or, you know, if you're a bomb carrier, go ahead and be ready for your bombs. You're going to see I'm going to have to kill a total of 3 Scorch servitors. You don't have to kill 3, I guess, if you have somebody else who's on top of their game. Again, you only really need 7. You can see the targets are spread out a little bit differently this time. I know there's one on the wall, one like right below him there. So again, you can miss 2 shots here, but I would not recommend doing it. Every shot really counts, and it's always nice to have some extra ammo, you know. But there are 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and 1 in the center for the targets on the last one. Obviously, they spread out a little bit for the earlier one as well. But hit that last target, and you don't even have to shoot at him here. It doesn't take out a shield or anything. He's just dead. He's gone. Or is he? I'm going to let you know he's not. This is just his first form. I kind of said that earlier, so I feel like you knew. But basically, he just kind of flops over there. And he does drop loot here, though. So you have a little bit more of a loot drop. Right there on a chest, they'll just kind of show up, and then you move on to the next and far harder part of this fight. The next and final section of this fight will start as soon as you shoot him right in the chest. He'll then kind of get really angry, and apparently he had a spider body hidden underneath all the wires and shit that whole time. Don't know how we didn't notice it or disarm it, but whatever. Bottom line, this is pretty much the same as it was before, except your groups need to be decided a little bit differently. What will happen is half of your team will get an empowered buff, which you will need later. Be careful, because he will start shooting at you. It's the only real difference. He spawns shanks instead of dregs, and he'll also start shooting these SIVA area of effect things, and they kind of suck a lot. Also, everything has been up to light level 380 here, so if you're a little low on the spectrum, you might want to go out and level up. It sucks to hear that, but we had to have that happen too. That's why this raid took so long for us to finish. But anyway, it's kind of a rinse and repeat with the servitors and the cannon, just like it was in the last area, with the only real difference being that instead of throwing the bombs at targets, you throw them directly at Axis himself, and that will lower his shield just like the first boss, except when he gets stunned, he goes into these areas, he teleports down on the platform, and you have to have people that are empowered in the left, right, and middle to try and find where he teleports. They then slam the empowerment on him, and you can attack him just like we're doing right now. It is important to remember that you do have those Scorch Cannons, so you can do a lot of damage with them there, because you are only going to have 3 shots per wave. He basically works in the same kind of way that the first boss did, where you have 5 total chances, and after you damage him, he'll do like a whole kind of wipe thing where he tries to kill you as quickly as he can, but you can kind of escape it if you go to a clean room. This is a platform instead of a room for this specific thing, but I'll show you that in just a second. Again, tethering him here is really good. Using those cannons is also very important. The first group I did this with, we were all 365, and we were not able to do nearly enough damage. But as you can see right here, I'm running back to these things. The SIVA density is getting critical. That's him trying to kill everybody really quick. Running to this platform, there'll be a total of 4. I think this might be on my second use of a platform, so we're totally safe out here. But yeah, there's a total of 4 platforms, so you have 5 total tries. It's important to note that if you, for some reason, think you don't need one of the platforms and you are empowered, you can run over to that platform and it will give everybody on your team full super. That can help in these damage steps, but you might need that empowerment later because he has those 3 times he teleports. If you miss an empowerment, then you might have to just waste a platform. Anyway, when he gets to 5% health, he'll do this thing right here where he teleports right to the middle, and he will activate his SIVA discharge. All those platforms are gone at that point, but you have 5% health left on him. Go ahead and wipe him out. If you can't do it, you're going to have to wipe, and that is the worst thing. But if you do it, you get all the raid rewards. It's so awesome. You got this really cool little emblem, and you head down here, and bam, another raid reward. And there's even a cash chest if you've got the extra cash key. But I didn't for that one, but, you know, that's okay. I got a lot of stuff there, and I got the Spliced achievement for finishing the Wrath of the Machine raid. And bam, just like that, raid's all done. Siva is no more. Archon Prime doesn't even exist as far as I'm concerned. We can go back to the tower, dance behind the Cryptarch, make him feel weird while we're just talking about how our ghost used to sound like Peter Dinklage, and now it's Nolan North. So there you go. Raid complete. Hope you guys got it done too.
Hello. Fuck. God damn it.
I'm so sorry.
The one thing I had to go. Oh, we did it. Okay, we beat the mission. Good, good, good.
All right.
Well, I'm electric dancing.
Ooh.
It's electric.
Boop, boop, doop, doop, doop,
Okay. Well, that was a good waste
Oh,
of. I guess
yeah,
it really
man.
doesn't matter anyway.
Fuck you too.
Oh,
He
shit.
slid me back.
God damn. All right, let's see what we got.
Yeah, hopefully it's good. And I get to get it this time.